Welcome to the My Creative Days podcast, where we will talk about all things DIY, home decor, decorating tips, and creating a beautiful home on a budget. I am hoping our time together will spark a creative idea, help you plan your next DIY, or inspire you to finally tackle that project you keep putting off. Grab your favorite cup of motivation and let's chat. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I thought this would be a little different way or fun way to do the podcast for today. So I'm going to do a do this, not that episode today for thrifting. So do these things and don't do these things for thrifting. I think it'll just be a fun way to kind of, get you into the thrifting mode and mood. And it is fall, one of my favorite times to be thrifting and at yard sales, same thing. So this is not just for, thrift stores. It can be estate sales, yard sales, antique stores, anything like that. But fall is one of my favorite times to be out doing those things. So I thought this would be a fun little refresh and just things to be thinking about when you are thrifting or at yard sales. So number one, do explore different sections. Don't just stick to the home decor aisles. Venture beyond those aisles. Check out, the furniture, the artwork. Check out the kids' toys area. I know that sounds funny, but, sometimes you'll have moms in there with, their kids or whatever, and they're over in the toys with their kids, and then they decide to set something down that's really good. So I always tell people, when you are in a thrift store, it is not just, where they designate where they're going to put the home stuff or whatever you're looking for. You need to look in all the aisles. Even if you're thrifting for clothes, there will be many times I'm in like the furniture aisle or I'm going down the kitchen aisle or something. And then there's shoes and clothes that somebody has laid down. So do explore different sections. Don't stick only to the section you're there for, if that makes sense. And it's a quick look, I'm not really looking for little kids' toys anymore, but I will definitely go down that aisle just to do a quick walkthrough and see if anybody has left anything interesting there. The next one is do look for quality materials. Don't settle for flimsy or damaged goods. You just want to make sure that you're seeking out sturdy materials and this especially is for furniture flippers or people looking for furniture, solid wood pieces. Do not look for those pieces that are, where you get them in a box and you're putting them together with little screws and it's made out of, I don't even know, particle wood. I don't even know what it is. Just cardboard, compressed cardboard, whatever it is. Don't seek out those kinds of materials. You want to look for solid wood, ceramic, real metal. Just don't compromise on quality. And then obviously avoid items that are chipped, cracked, or wobbly, especially chairs if you're buying chairs. We don't want any wobbly chairs. Chairs are a lot harder to fix than you think. So, just be on the lookout for those things. Do mix and match styles. Do not stick to one design theme. So this is what to do and what not to do. So do mix and match styles. Don't stick to one design theme. I love this. And it kind of goes with, I love mixing old and new. So all day long, I will have vintage items in our home, but there are some things like, a new sofa or a new throw blanket or a new throw pillow that it just adds that contrast, just enough contrast to make it interesting and not all like you went to one store, you looked at the window display and you bought everything in the window display, brought it home and put it in your living room. An eclectic mix of both old and new or styles, it just makes for a more, what do I want to say, curated look. It's more interesting. It's not boring. So do mix and match. Don't stick to one design theme. The next one is do check for functionality. Don't just go for looks. And this is especially one of the things that I like to talk about is especially if you live in your home or wherever you live has smaller spaces, when you can find an amazing piece that's also functional, think like a bench that you can use at your dining room table, but the bench, the seat opens up and there's actually storage. Or you're using a dresser for an entertainment, like an entertainment to set your TV on, but the drawers, you're actually storing games and throw blankets and those kinds of things. So don't just go for looks. Check for the functionality of a piece. It just makes it not only look great, but it's also practical. You can always change the look of something, and you don't want to just clutter your space with items that don't really serve a function. Does that make sense? Like, not like everything that you have in your room is going to be functional, but yet those pieces that could be, maybe check for functionality and don't just go for looks. The next one is do inspect upholstered items thoroughly. Don't overlook upholstery condition. So now this is a big one. Like, upholstery will sometimes, like if I see upholstery, especially, I do not know how to upholster furniture. I wish I did, because that would be an amazing skill to have. But if it's upholstered, sometimes I just walk away, period. Unless it's something like a seat cover that is so easy to change out, then maybe I would pick up that piece. I know how to do that. But as far as like upholstering a chair, like a full chair, you know what I mean? Like an upholstered chair or like a sofa or something like that. Nope, I just walk on by. But if you are somebody that can do that and can make those changes or, fix those things, just make sure you test and inspect that upholstery very, very, very well. Okay, this is one of my favorites. Okay, so do visualize repurposing and upcycling. Don't dismiss items that have minor imperfections. This is my favorite thing about thrifting and yard saling, and because I can look at a piece and know right away, I can think of different ways to use it, different ways to make it look better. Flip it upside down, turn it backwards and hang it on the wall. Like, there's one time I went and I found this shelf, and it was at a thrift store, and it was meant to go obviously a certain way, right? But when I flipped it upside down, it just looked so much better. I just loved the way it looked. So you got to think, besides just, if there's minor imperfections or you just hate the color of that, whatever it is, you can always paint something. You can always spray paint something, even minor imperfections. Now, I'm not talking about, when I said earlier, like wobbly chair legs and stuff. That is a whole different beast. I'm talking about, a little crack in a wood that you could fill with wood filler, or, maybe it's, let's just say, a lamp that's missing its pieces, but the base of the lamp could be a really cool piece on a shelf, or you could turn it into a vase, or you could make a piece you find at a thrift store into a lamp. Like, this whole topic could be its own podcast. And I just love that part of thrifting, because you're finding pieces that nobody else is going to have that. Once you get it done, you get it painted, you get it fixed, you get it repurposed, whatever it is, nobody else will have that piece, and you have an entire story about that piece. It's one of my favorite things about thrifting and yard selling. Do measure before buying. Don't assume it will fit. I am pretty certain that I did a whole podcast episode about what to take with you when you're thrifting. Take a tape measure. Just take a tape measure and know if you're looking for certain things, because you should have a list of what you are looking for. Granted, you will find other things that you're not looking for, but if there's certain things that you're looking for that are a size, especially bigger items like, a dresser or whatever else, you need to measure before you buy it. Do not assume it'll fit. A lot of thrift stores, yard sales, obviously, they don't have a return policy. So just make sure it fits, and don't assume it'll fit. And then you've got this massive, dresser that just takes up too much space in your room and it just doesn't fit the space. Measure, don't assume it'll fit. Do clean and sanitize purchases. Do not use items without cleaning. Obviously, wash your linen, sanitize kitchenware, obviously dust furniture, clean furniture. Don't skip the cleaning. That's just your do's and your don'ts. Number 9, do shop regularly. Do not expect to find everything at once. This is huge. And this is one that I hear all the time. I never find anything, so I don't go. That "so I don't go" is the reason you're not finding anything. I don't find anything when I go, so I don't go. Okay, so you're not going, and that means you're not going to find anything. So you will not find anything if you're not going, and you are not going to find everything every time you go. You may not find anything every time you go. You just have to keep going, and you have to do it on a consistent basis. It's not just a once a month thing and then expect to find a ton of great things, because it just doesn't happen that way. The best stuff is, gonna go fast. But here's another thing that I've learned. Not everybody is looking for your best stuff. It's so funny. I used to, like, when I would get to yard sales, this is me, if you know, you would get to yard sales and you could like tell from the driveway or whatever, like, this is going to be the best yard sale ever. And there's people ahead of you, which is the worst. You're like, just everybody back up. Just let me do a walkthrough first so I know what to grab quickly, right? But it's so funny because I will walk through a whole yard sale, people ahead of me, or even like a church sale. This actually just happened to me. A church sale where there were, people are lined up to get into these, and I'm not. So I just, when the doors open, I'm walking through and I go all the way to the back and come all the way back up front. And all of those people did not pick up the things that I about died for. I share all of my hauls on my YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube. You will find it at My Creative Days, same name. All of my thrifting hauls, church sale hauls, yard sale hauls are all on. I do them live the videos on YouTube so you can see them. And it was vintage Santa things. And so if you followed me on Instagram, even on my website, any of those platforms, on Facebook, you know that vintage Santa mugs and just like vintage Christmas, it's one of my favorite things. And this, I could not believe that all those people just left that sitting there. I mean, they didn't even pick it up to look at it. And so shop regularly. What I'm trying to say is, your best thing is not going to be everybody's best thing. So don't think, it was open at 9 and now it's 1:30, so everybody found the best stuff. No, that's not true. Like, you have to go often to find the best stuff, to find your best stuff. Just go regularly. Do not expect to find everything at once. And this last one is something that will keep me going. Do enjoy the thrill of the hunt. Don't stress over finding the perfect pieces. So if you are constantly stressed over finding the thrill of the hunt is what makes me stop at a thrift store when I've got 10 minutes every time. I just never know what I'm going to find. And I may not find anything, but that thrill of, oh my gosh, I may find something amazing is what will make me stop every time. Like if I'm not headed out to yard sales and I see one, stopping and going up to it, the thrill of what I could find is what makes me stop. It is not me stressing over finding the perfect piece. It's because then it's not going to happen. You have too much stress on it. Like, just chill out and just enjoy the thrill of the hunt. There are so many times I walk out of a thrift store or a yard sale or an estate sale and I don't buy a thing, but it's always fun to walk through it and just to see what you're going to find, or see if maybe you do find something. So do enjoy the thrill of the hunt. Don't stress out over finding the perfect pieces, because you won't find them then. The thrill of the hunt is what keeps you coming back. So I thought this would be kind of fun. What to do and what do this, not that thrifting edition. I thought it would be kind of a fun thing to do, especially now we're going into fall. It's a great time to go to yard sales and thrift stores. The holiday season will be around here soon, but it's all year round. This is not just a fall and holiday season podcast. This is all year round, summer, spring. Like, all of these are definitely things you should do and shouldn't do when you are thrifting, estate sailing, whatever, yard sailing, whatever you're doing. So I hope these were helpful. And until next time, I will talk to you soon. Hello, friends. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'm grateful that you tune in every week and that you share the show with your family and friends. I love having creative chit chats with you, and my hope is that this podcast will inspire you to try a new project, start a DIY that you've been putting off, and decorate your home exactly how you want it. There are a few ways you can help us with the podcast. Follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode. And if you could take a few minutes to leave the podcast a review, that would help us so much. Again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to our chat next week. Bye-bye.